This show is absolutely unhinged.
What happens if it's quite dirty?
Just have to work around the dirt.
Hello friends, today we are going to be breaking down the TV show Rich Kids Go Skint. If you've never heard of this show before, here's a quick summary of the concept. Rich kids ditch their fast cars, their 5-star hotels, their endless shopping sprees to spend a week with a family living on the breadline. During this day, they will experience what it's like to live on the poverty line, as the show says. And somehow they manage to find the most stuck-up rich kids you've ever seen. So, will our rich kid make it through the week, or will they call their mummy to come and pick them up and burn down the skint person's house? Let's find out. The show begins by introducing our rich kid called Annie, and the first thing she does is brag about the expensive holidays she goes on while simultaneously putting down regular holidays.
We go to like either chains or nicer. We don't go like KFC.
Yes! This is gonna be tasty. Christ, Corfu's posh, man. If she found out I was going to Benidorm next year, she'd probably have a cardiac arrest. It's the way she says Corfu. She's like, what? You think I'm going on a holiday with people called Darren and Stephen? I'm going to Mykonos or Santorini to find myself an eligible bachelor called Benedict. Bloody Benedict. Annie then tells us that she lives in a 4-bedroom house in Putney, which is in London. Now, I did a little bit of research into Putney, and I found out it's most famous for its annual boat race, which I don't really understand because I think that sport is outside of my pay bracket. Can you imagine two people in Putney's got beef? They go, you know how we're going to settle this? To the water! Furthermore, Annie then tells us that she owns 2 holiday homes, one in the Isle of Wight and one in a place that I have never heard of.
I have 2 holiday houses, one in the Isle of Wight and one in Gozo, which is the little island of Malta. And we also have a yacht.
How does it feel to live my dream? This woman is playing GTA with all the cheat codes in real life. So yeah, Annie clearly is very rich and, you know, she enjoys it as she should. On top of this, she also goes to university in London, and her family give her like an allowance every single week to, you know, take the stress off, because I think you all know if you're a university student, money is like a tremendous issue you have. However, this next clip kind of shows how unaware Annie is of the real world.
I do get a budget at uni that my dad gives me, but when I see something I like, I just call my mum up and she normally sends the money over.
I'm sorry, but what uni student is living off £110 caviar and truffles? The normal uni student diet is pot noodles and Glen's vodka. Maybe Smirnoff vodka if it's on the club card and you've worked extra hard that month. Honestly, the difference between the upper class and, I guess, working class people who go to university is absolutely wild. I love that for her though, right? Like, if she wants something, she can just ring her mum and mum will get her it. If I rang my mum to, I don't know, give us 18 quid to pay for a bottle of Glen's vodka, she'd tell us to piss off. Honestly, man, when I was younger, she wouldn't even give us a quid for the ice cream, man. I was like, it's a quid! She'd always be like, there's ice creams in the freezer. I'll be like, yes, but they're awful. The interviewer then asks Annie about her opinion on the cost of living crisis, and I can't lie, her response is kind of cold.
I don't really know much about the cost of the living crisis since I normally just leave my parents to deal with it.
Nice. Nice! Oh, mummy, the cost of living crisis is at the door again. Can you deal with it? Like I said, it's kind of cold. She's like, do you think I've got time to fit a cost of living crisis into my schedule? Love, I am not saying au revoir to caviar.
I am actually quite good at budgeting.
What do you mean you're good at budgeting? You can't even stay in your family allowance because you can't resist the temptation of truffles. What does that mean?
But only when it comes to clubbing. Me and my friends, we definitely like to pre before going out.
Sorry, am I old or what does preem mean? Should I know that? When a man ejaculates before his partner has had sufficient sexual stimulation. Nice. Story of my life. I can't wait to use that at my next pre-drinks party to get the hype going. Guys, sorry, does anyone think this party needs a bit more premature ejaculation? Don't worry, I've got this one. I'm good at this. What am I saying? Now at this point, I do kind of want to dive deeper because I don't actually know if Annie's saying these things because she wants to or if she's getting like pressed to say it by the interviewer, which just to make her look as bad as possible because this show is meant to make you, you know, feel a certain way about the rich kid. However, she doesn't help herself with some of her answers. For instance, she's asked the question, what does skint mean to you? And this is her reply.
When I hear the word skint and think about skint people, the first thing that comes to my mind is probably council estates, people who own flats, probably a 1 or 2 bedroom, a very small kitchen, and just kids who go to state schools probably.
What? I am literally all of them things. Why did she go into so much detail? Like she Harvard referenced that answer. Also, like how is it a person that goes to state school a skint person? You're basically calling 99.9% of the population skint. To be fair, they probably are. And moving on, we then get our first look at the Skint family, who is a mother and son called Christy and DeJounte. Just a brief summary, we find out that they rely on universal credit to pay for all their bills. However, Christine wants to get back into work because apparently she only receives £9 in benefits a month, which I don't really get, because that is not enough to survive on, never mind for one person, but also to supply for a child.
And I only receive $9.78 per month, which is not enough to cover my bills.
I literally worked it out. That's 23p a day. If you wanted a Freddo, you'd literally have to buy it with Claudia.
I find it terrible.
I also spotted that her rent seems to be £299, so again, I'm not sure how she's paying for that. Unless it's £900 she's getting a month, but the way she said it, it didn't seem like that. Christy then says to cut food costs, she relies heavily on a food bank. I mean, I don't know what they're serving at the food bank, but go on, lass. She's got the Flora and the Warburtons branded. Love it. Honestly, she's got Flora butter, for Christ's sake. That stuff spreads better than COVID. Tremendous gear, that. No node pack of Utley Butley in this house. When I was back living in the council house, I used to have to save up to get a big pack of Doritos. That was like my treat at the end of the month, getting a big bag of cheesy Doritos. I used to love it. We also learned that Christy and DeJounte have 3 pets. And after getting like a brief introduction to these people, one thing I did realise is they do have it better than other people I know who use universal credit. Like these guys live in a really nice house, and also they have like really nice things like a really nice couch. Also the fact they can pay for the pets is really good, and DeJounte has like a PlayStation, an iPad. Like they have quite a lot of luxuries, but they still are heavily struggling. I'm not putting that past them, I'm just saying they are better than most. The show then switches back to Annie, and it shows her last conversation with her mother before she goes and moves in with Christy and DeJounte. And I'm going to warn you, the overall tone of this conversation is really disgusting, I can't lie.
What happens if it's quite dirty?
Yeah, I don't know, just have to work around the dirt. And
What do you mean? I'm sorry, right? You know, in these videos I always try and see it from everyone's point of view, but these two right now are just being a couple of pricks. I don't need to say this, right? But just because someone lives in a council house doesn't mean they're dirty. They probably take more pride and care in their living space than you do because they appreciate it so much. Like, this is evident because the mother reveals that these have cleaners for their house. You're calling someone else's house dirty when you don't even clean your house yourself.
Because you won't be able to wash your hands all the time. And
yeah. I'm sure they'll have some soap, but
well, you could always pack some soap.
could do.
What do you mean? Do you think that people who live in a council house don't have access to running water? Do you think people in Hull are walking miles for their water? Is this what you think? I've just got this vision that Annie's mum thinks people in council houses wash like they're in the Barbie movie. Do you know where they're just kind of pretending that the water's running when in reality there's nothing coming out? I don't know, I don't wash myself like this. I don't know what this is what I do in the shower. I just wash like this. Just great vibes in the morning. After this, Annie then sets off for Christy and DeJounte's house, and she gives her opinion on the local area.
The houses around here are definitely more run down, old.
What? Did you see the houses she was passing when she said that? They are absolutely massive. One of them looked like a castle. For all we know, that could be Dumbledore's holiday home. Honestly, if Annie came to my house for tea, she would ask if this was used as a bunker in World War II.
But definitely not as nice as London.
To be fair, from Annie's point of view, if she's like, you know, hanging around all like the posh areas in London, that's probably true. And from her perspective, she probably feels more comfortable in London. Annie then says she's excited to see inside a council house. house.
I've never been to a council house before. Excited to see what it's like.
That's pretty cool, Annie. You might be the first person in the UK to ever say that. Raw, this council house doesn't have underground heating. Damn, that's quirky, bro. Annie then arrives at the house and she meets the family.
All the houses are quite different around here. Some smaller, some more run down. It's quite different.
Yeah, Annie, say that. That'll make them like you. Christy and DeJounte then give Annie a house tour.
So, you know, this is the living room.
Yes, very nice.
Dream, hope, wish. Oh, that gives Live, Laugh, Love a run for its money. That, oh, awful.
And we're going into the kitchen
Nice.
where we cook.
Yeah, my kitchen in London is very big.
Sorry. No, sorry, Annie. Who asked?
Probably 6 times.
This one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, your kitchen is probably the size of my sink. Sorry, my second sink. By the way, as well, that's a decent-sized kitchen. Like, that's a nice kitchen, apart from the flooring. The flooring's got to go. Like, what in the Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat is going on here?
Bathroom.
Nice.
Yes.
Christ, I know I'm like acting like I'm on Homes Under the Hammer here, but what is that toilet seat? I'm kind of liking it. If that was my toilet seat, I would just digest as much cheese as possible so I could get the much use out of it as possible. Like, can you imagine pooping on that? I feel like I would be having a poop in Balamory every day.
My bedroom. This is, I'm sure yours quite bigger than this.
Yes, a bit bigger than
Bigger
this.
than
yeah.
this.
Oh my god. No way does Annie say that her bedroom's bigger than Christie's and then the cameraman cuts to enjoy the little things. The cheeky little bastard. To be fair, I need that frame like a lot bigger up above my bed. No reason, just so when Chloe wakes up every single day, she's constantly reminded that it's the little things that make life great. Right? Also, sorry, has this woman got a framed photo of herself? Is that weird? I feel like if I just had loads of selfies around my room, it would make us uncomfortable. And that's not just because of me teeth. Annie is then set her first task of the show, where she has to buy the ingredients to make a Jamaican chicken stew for the whole family. However, she has a limit of £15 and she can't go over it.
That's the only chicken I can find, so we'll have to go with that. Green banana. I've got no clue what a green banana looks like.
It's hardly working out the Zodiac Killer, is it?
It can't be a green banana, can it?
It might be.
You got a green banana?
Someone give this woman a green banana.
And what is a green banana?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say I think it might be a banana that's green. I really hope it is a banana that's green, otherwise I'm gonna look like a total donut.
This is not a very normal shop I would normally shop in. Everything's in different packets, and you normally go to Waitrose or something like that.
What, does Waitrose not have their stuff in packets? To be fair to Waitrose, they probably just hire people to hold the spices in the palm of their hands, shaking, hoping you take it.
I can see you're looking for yam there, yeah?
Yes, I'm looking for some yam.
Yeah, we have the yam.
To be fair, I'm with Annie on this one. If I got told to buy a yam, I would be like, what the fuck's a yam? The only time I've ever heard of a yam is in that Friends episode when Brad Pitt has an argument with Jennifer Aniston about them. I'm so white. Why am I so white? Annie then gets all the ingredients she needs, but she actually goes £1.27 over our £15 budget. But she just pays the difference with her contactless card. I think the family review how she did regarding the ingredients, and she also cooks the meal for the family at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, the show cuts to DeJounte and Annie in the back garden playing football, and it's like a really nice bonding experience between them. And Annie asks DeJounte why he wants to become a professional footballer.
I would love to, because if I get money, I would like to give half of the money to my mom so she can do well.
Oh, that's so nice.
Every time I do one of these videos, I feel like crying.
And what team do you want to play for?
Arsenal.
Mikel Arteta, if you're watching this right now, which I know you probably are, Sign this boy up. Pay for his mum's yabs. On the topic of food, they then take a trip to the local food bank where they pick up their emergency supply of food. And one thing I did find mental about this segment was the guy in charge of the food bank says that teachers, policemen, like people working full-time jobs have to rely on the food banks now, whereas 5 years ago it was just people that were homeless, which is just mental. Like adults who are working full-time to raise the next generation of people can't even afford their own food. Like no wonder in this video we did, the teachers couldn't be arsed with the kids. And at this point in the video, we start to see some like real growth from Annie, because I think it really sinks in, like, oh shit, like this is actually their life. Christy's mom then comes over to review the food shop that Annie did previously. I don't know why Christy couldn't do it. Christy's mom must be like, I don't know, the Paul Hollywood of chicken stew.
Is that the right chicken?
I don't know. That's the bird. It looks like a bird, but put it down first.
It's a chicken.
A chicken's a bird, right? It is. Is it? Trust me with this one, guys. I've seen chicken run 3 times. I know a bird when I see one. I don't know if she was actually trying to insult her there, but it kind of turned into a weird compliment. Like if I cooked a curry for Chloe and she went, well, it looks like a curry, I'd be like, yeah, that's the fucking point.
A green banana.
That's not a banana.
What a plot twist! I really hope it is a banana that's green, otherwise I'm gonna look like a total donut. How is that not a green banana? Look at her, man. The little office look to the camera as well. Love it.
And it's a plantain.
Oh.
It's a green plantain.
Oh, like, you kind of blame her for that. Like, honestly, if somebody told me to buy a green banana, I'm buying a banana that is green. Lock me up and throw away the key.
Thanks for trying, but that's not the right flower.
Yeah.
Christy's mom is cold. Thanks for trying, but no thanks. Thanks, flour, but that's the wrong flour. Damn, I love it. After reviewing the ingredients, Annie then breaks the fourth wall and speaks to us outside of an interview setting.
I'm really excited to get cooking, to be shown all the ways of making Jamaican food. Very cool. Maybe take it home and do it for my parents.
These guys are so quirky putting jerk on the chicken. Ugh. I guess I'm the jerk for always having it plain. But I have to give Annie some credit here, because obviously she's never cooked this before and she gets proper into it. Like she's proper breaking the chicken up and everything, which she's probably never had to do before. Going into a brand new house with like a brand new people and everyone else is a family and you're the odd one out, like you're going to feel uncomfortable anyway. So yeah, she really is like trying to, you know, make this as least awkward as possible. But then the camera cuts to DeJounte and he says something really odd.
If it's not good, I might put it somewhere.
Where? Where are you going to put it, DeJounte? Where are you going to put that chicken stew? Sorry, bird stew. Bird stew. I don't trust DeJounte. I don't fucking trust him. Annie must have heard this threat from DeJounte from the other room, as the cooking gets too much for her.
So I'm just gonna take a little break and just refresh my mind. To say the least, it's been quite a harrowing experience.
I don't know how you're doing it, Annie. Cooking chicken in a pan. You're a right soldier, love. To be fair, from Annie's point of view, having to break up a frozen chicken for the first time probably is quite traumatic, because that is literally an animal. After they finish up cooking, it's time for Annie to serve the food to the family, and they're actually quite impressed.
The dinner was alright.
Is that alright as in good? Or alright as in bad? I don't know if she doesn't want to give her credit for something that's good, or she doesn't want to hurt her feelings by saying it's terrible. I guess the only way we'll know is if DeJounte puts it somewhere. But yeah, this night is quite emotional, as it's the last night Annie will be spending with the family. And what comes next is actually really emotional, and the first time I watched this, I actually filled up a little bit. Every video this is happening now. This is becoming an issue. Men that get emotional, you don't want them, ladies.
I've got you guys a few little things as a thank you for letting me into your home. So first of all,
Thank you so much. No way. No way. Thank you so much.
it's okay.
Oh, Dad. What the Hey, she didn't need to do that, which is like, she's went out of her way, which I think is really nice for her to do. It's like a really nice callback, and it's really thoughtful because Deshante said he wants to become a professional footballer and he probably struggles to pay for new football boots. And on top of this, Annie also buys the family a month's supply of food. Like, it's like a weekly food box that comes to them, which is also really thoughtful and just helps them get back on their feet. They then say their goodbyes, and yeah, I guess this is the last time they ever see each other. The show then ends by showing how the family and Annie are getting on now, 6 months later. Christine has been enjoying the food boxes that have arrived regularly. Has she? Well, does she want to tell her bloody face?
I've definitely gotten better with buying the food that I need and cooking the portions that I know I'll eat and definitely not wasting food.
I'd like to think this show has been successful in changing the way Annie thinks about working class people and people that live in council estates, and also how she just lives her life in general. Like, she's saying she's not buying too much food and not wasting as much as she would before. And I do think she had a really good character arc as the episode progressed, as she became a lot more understanding than she was at the start. Now, after I finished watching this episode, I really wanted to do a little bit of research into how people get on the show. Like, how do they recruit the rich kids if they're not getting paid? And I actually found their casting page on Instagram, and the way that they market it to them is really strange. They try and show it as if it's like a really fun week to spend as a poor kid.
Did you go to private school?
Do you only shop in Waitrose?
Are you sick and tired of the stereotypes about being a rich kid?
Have you got a great personality for TV?
Apply to Rich Kids Go Skint today.
Woo!
Woo! Do you want to live off just food banks for an entire week and be really quirky? They're kind of making it really like fun to be a skint person for a week, which I kind of just find a little weird. I can't show the audio for this one, but just you can see the general vibe of it. It's like really kind of weird the way they're kind of doing this. Like, I get they've got to make it fun and like make the people want to go on the show, but I feel like for this specific show it should be handled a little bit more delicately. I might be being a bit sensitive here, but I don't know if this sits right with us. Let us know what you think in the comments. And after they've like made it seem really fun for the rich kids to sign up, like I mentioned at the start of the video, they then focus on making the rich kids look as worse as possible. For instance, I found the TikTok of someone else that had appeared on the show, and this was a response to a comment that was made. Did they ask you to come off snobby? Like, genuine question. Yeah, they ask a lot of questions that, for example, I wouldn't even have mentioned on my episode to add to the idea of the show, which I get from the producer's point of view. They want to make it as like contrasting and as dramatic as possible, but it does seem like people get used on both sides of this. But yeah, I just thought I'd include that because I found it quite interesting. If you would like to see me break down an even worse TV show than this one, click right here. It's a good one. Or if you want to watch my second channel, click right here. Ow!